Welcome to this advanced CL&C practice building program. We now join this session recorded live.
Society often concludes that successful people are successful because they have all the answers. I've been blessed to hang with some extremely successful people. For 33 years, I've studied successful CEOs and consultants, in fact, some of which are sitting right here in this room, and why they succeed, no matter the conditions or the economy. Here's what I've learned. Contrary to popular belief, they don't have all the answers, but they do ask the right questions. Savvy certified legal nurse consultants know that the questions you raise are usually more important than the answers you derive. In some ways, asking quality questions calls for more intelligence, insight, and experience than answering those questions. The best answer is of no value if the question is wrong from the start. Think back to some of the depositions you've sat in on. Classic proof of this point. Have you ever observed an attorney muddling through a deposition because the attorney's not even asking the right questions? Any of you? Sure. Painful, isn't it, to watch that attorney? It's the quality of the questions that makes a strong deposition. James Thurber said, "It is better to know some of the answers than all of the questions." The questions that we ask from the moment we open our eyes shape our thoughts, our intentions, and our actions for the entire day. Only the right questions can get you to the right outcomes. Wrong questions produce wrong outcomes every time. So here are 10 game-changing questions every certified legal nurse consultant must ask. Question number 1. What are the gaps in my experience, knowledge, and daring? And who can help me? None of us arrives where we are completely on our own. That's impossible. When I started my legal nurse consulting business, the best advice I received came from my CPA. Fran said, "Vicki, as a business owner, you're going to encounter a lot of problems and challenges that you are not going to know how to handle. Remember, though, there's always someone else out there who's already solved that very problem." This timeless advice has carried me through 33 years of business, whether I'm dealing with an employee issue or incorporating new technology into my legal nurse consulting business. Leveraging the talents of others to grow your CL&C business, it's just plain smart. Ask, who can help? Surround yourself with power players, CL&C mentors, and other business owners who will genuinely be on your team, people who don't need or want anything from you. Create a CL&C alliance of consultants who are like-minded regarding values, integrity, and ambitions, but different in specialty and geographic location, so that you can genuinely share without competitive threat. Now, if you haven't already done this, this week is the perfect week to set up an alliance. You're surrounded by people who probably have very similar values and ambitions as you. You can connect through Skype, conference calls, Facebook groups, NACL&C conferences, and one of my favorites, a private CLNC retreat. Now that you've asked who can help, next ask, who can I model after? You can be mentored by just about anyone if your eyes are wide open. You know, I'm often surprised at how little people use this free, readily available resource. You don't have to be in a relationship to learn from another person. You know, sometimes people will say, Vicki, who was your mentor? And my response is, I never had a single mentor. And I've even had people challenge me on that and say, well, Vicki, every entrepreneur has a mentor. No, entrepreneurs don't have single mentors. Entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs because they see the whole world as their mentor. Their eyes are wide open. They're constantly learning, taking it in. This is what entrepreneurs do. They understand that a single mentor can actually hold them back. One mentor can rarely take you where you want to or need to go with your business. Pay attention to successful people. What can you learn? What can you model? Finally, this is a really important one. Ask, who are my real friends? You're going to need them. Yes, you're going to. I'm really blessed because I've got 5 best women friends, and they want nothing from me except the gift of my return friendship. They're always there for me. They keep me sane in this world of business madness. Real friends also help you to ignore the naysayers. And you know who I'm talking about, right? The unhappy people who are going to rain on your parade as you're climbing the ladder of success. Now, here's a big mistake I see busy professionals making: not taking time for friends. I don't consider friends a luxury. I consider friends an absolute necessity for my survival as a business owner. So I don't care how successful you are. Friends can be one of the best investments you're ever going to make. Question number 2. Do I know what I don't know? Oscar Wilde said, I am not young enough to know everything. Now, that's a powerful person who has that insight to know what they don't know. Frequently, I'll find myself sitting in the conference room at the Institute, and I'm with people who know a whole lot more about the issue than I do. Does that make them the smartest person in the room? I like to think that I know what I don't know, and because I know what I don't know, what I do know is how to ask questions and how to probe and challenge the experts to cut to the chase and cut out the BS. That's when progress gets made and the right questions get answered. Now, when you're consulting with attorneys, they're going to challenge you. Agree? And that's a good thing. You wouldn't want to work with an attorney who didn't challenge you. You'd be concerned. But better yet, you should challenge your own opinions and everything you believe you know. A big mistake I see consultants making, even successful consultants, is taking cases outside their specialty without conferring with the CLNC subcontractor. Even if you're the most successful consultant in this room, you still don't know everything there is to know about every nursing specialty. The smartest certified legal nurse consultants know what they don't know. They know when to ask for help. That's the insight that can make you the smartest person in the room, full of very smart attorneys. Question number 3. What is success for me, and how badly do I want it? You know, this week, a few of you came to me and said, Vicki, I'm finally ready for success. And I'm ready to do what I need to do to attain it. Music to my ears. Success is obviously different for each of us, right? 33 years ago, success for me was getting as many attorney clients as I could so I could pay my bills, pay my mortgage, and have a little more flexibility and control over my life. Today, I've got the luxury of defining success differently than I did 33 years ago. Today, I don't have to worry about a mortgage, but success does mean making payroll for 18 employees and countless subcontractors. And success means being able to carve out quality time for myself. And best of all, success today means being able to help you grow your businesses and even grow yourselves. Some of my favorite stories are when you tell me you lost weight because you became a business owner. It's like you're not just growing your business, you're growing yourself. And that's my privilege to be able to work with you today. So you're going to define your own success. And however you do, in 5 years, you're going to have the luxury of defining it differently. See, as you evolve, so does your definition of success. Life is not a journey to success. It's a journey in success. What does your definition of success mean to you? What does it mean to your life? What's really important? Are your success goals in alignment with that importance? And for those of you who said, yeah, I'm ready, are you willing to embrace all that comes with success? Not just the money from a case or flexibility in your hours because you don't have to work Christmas Day, but also the hard work, the aggravation, the change in a relationship or two. I know one CL&C consultant, she chose to scale down her business because she found the hassles of employees to be more than she wanted to handle. She was really not up for that task of taking on employees. So she restructured to exclude employees and instead include only subcontractors. By honoring her concept of success, she is much happier. Don't compare your success to anybody else's. If you do, you're usually going to come up short. You can look around you right here and fall short. Comparison is a trap. And just one more reason, along with 50 Shades of Grey, to feel really bad about yourself. Yes, please. Question number 4. What is my purpose? Your purpose directs you, your thoughts, your actions, who you choose to hang with, and ultimately, who you are. Your purpose creates your today. Your purpose creates your tomorrow. A Course in Miracles says, our only function is to be a light of the world. The Bible reminds us not to hide our light under a bushel. These are some tall orders for any human. What helps me is knowing that my purpose is not about me. Self-absorption is never a formula for success or for happiness. We're all merely vessels for something much bigger than who we even believe we can be. When you see yourself as a steward of a purpose or of a mission, that's when you can accomplish so much more than even you believe you're capable of. And you won't be chasing down happiness because happiness becomes your natural state. Question number 5. What is the payoff for this action? Ask, does saying yes support my success goal? And ask, what do I need to say no to? What can and should I let go of? Can you let go of the Big Bang Theory? Can you let go of negative thinking? Can you let go of those things outside your circle of influence? You know, one thing I observe is unsuccessful people are usually focused on what they have to give up in order to be successful. Instead, ask, what am I working towards? Don't ask, what do I have to give up? Ask yourself, what am I working towards? That question softens the pain of what you believe you're giving up. So often, you're not giving up anything of value. But you're not going to know that until you master the art of not saying yes by default. By that, I mean saying yes without any conscious intention. Yes to TV shows that suck up hours of your day. Yes to yummy cupcakes that drain your energy. Yes to OCD complaining about how little free time you have because you're complaining all the time. Pay attention to how often you say yes by default and where that gets you. Question number 6. What did I accomplish toward my audacious success goal? Where you focus is where you yield results. This year, I knew I had some big goals and that I had to have total clarity about my focus. One of my New Year's resolutions was to better manage email to open up the space for these big goals, because last year, email kicked my butt. Now, if you're like me, you get a lot of email, right? I get email directed solely to me, copies of email to others, copies of responses from others to the original emailer, copies of out-of-office responders, reports, responses to reports, corrections to reports, and responses to those corrections. Not to mention the occasional spam for performance-enhancing drugs, which I do forward to Tom. Yes, please. I started off by minimizing the program, even minimized those reliable audio and visual alerts virtually guaranteed this Pavlovian reaction, instantly diverting my attention from the big project I'm working on. So next, I'm like, okay, I'm going to mute the sound. But even then, those pesky flashing reminders would catch my eye. And just like Pavlov's dogs, I started wagging my tail and salivating over my unread email, going straight down the path of being reactive, not proactive. So finally, it occurred to me, okay, the only way to banish email from my mind is to close this program entirely. And I did. And with that single stroke, I achieved a new level of productivity. Not to mention, my stress levels are under better control because I'm getting my work done, not everybody else's. CEO really means controlled entirely by others if you let them. So there you have it. A major productivity increase for your legal nurse consulting business with one click of your mouse. For the record, I like email, but I've learned I can live without it, at least for short periods of time. And you can too. Trust me. Now, going back to our original question, what did I accomplish towards my audacious success goal? When you ask that question, if the answer isn't pretty, look to your daily habits. Email management is just one example. Don't even get me started on social media. Modifying the smallest of habits creates the space for achieving your most audacious goals. Question number 7. What reality do my perceptions create? Studies repeatedly reveal that perceptions are unreliable. Perception is not reality. We can all agree on that, right? Yes. But perception certainly creates our reality. Everything we see means exactly what we make it mean. So think about a disappointing breakup. Maybe you were at 18, or maybe you were a late bloomer and it didn't happen until you were 23. Does that breakup have the same meaning to you today as it did back then? No. Of course not. We can all look back on those prom pictures, can't we, and say, what was I thinking? The relationship didn't change. The breakup didn't change. The only change was what? You and your perceptions, and hopefully your hairstyle. Don't reinvent the wheel every day. Use your life experiences to deny false perceptions, which can hurt you. For example, when a CLNC consultant comes to me and is flailing, I will usually advise, go out and exhibit. And almost every time, it's that person who's flailing who says, Vicki, exhibiting's too expensive. What is expensive? I think it's more expensive to flail than to exhibit. But it doesn't matter what I believe. My perception is she can make back the cost of exhibiting with one strong lead, and that strong lead can become a lifetime income stream. But my perception is not what counts. It's your perceptions that drive your behaviors. Also, aim to challenge and deny false perceptions about yourself. Like, oh, an attorney's never going to pay me $150 an hour. When you don't perceive that talent and that education and that experience of who you are, you're going to lack the daring to do what you have to do to get paid properly by attorneys. I mean it when I say we're nurses and we can do anything. Do you truly believe that? Yes. Or should I just jump off the back of the ship right now? Question number 8. Does this thought expand me or does this shrink me? Every thought that you have contributes to the world that you see. A Course in Miracles says, what you perceive in others, you are strengthening in yourself. A negative thought about another person, even a thought that no one else can hear, is powerful stuff. Ask, how are my thoughts serving me? Are these attack thoughts turning in on me? Or are these thoughts filled with the ingredients of success? Thoughts of love, compassion, gratitude. Eleanor Roosevelt said, great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. This quote applies to our thoughts as much as the words we speak. In fact, even more. Are you a great mind or a small mind? Thoughts are our constant companions. We spend more time with our thoughts than with anyone else. How do you rate your companions? Empowering or disempowering? Helping you to build your CLNC business or distracting you from it? Pay attention to your thoughts. They have the power to tear you down or to build you up. Question number 9. What is the truth of me? The more successful you are, the more you have to know the answer to this one. You know, I've had some pretty vicious lies spread about me, but I know who I am. And it helps to remember Oscar Wilde, who said, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. So when people think they're hurting me, I know they're hurting themselves because they're inviting that negativity into their personal space, not mine. But just for the record, although I do like my steaks rare, I don't eat raw meat for breakfast, I don't breathe fire, I no longer bathe in the blood of virgins, and I have never, ever bitten the head off of a bat on the steps of the Alamo. Honestly, I think people are confusing me with Ozzy Osbourne or Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones sometimes. I hear so many rumors about me, I wouldn't be able to keep me straight if I didn't know the truth of me. I do wish some of the rumors were true, especially the ones about vacationing with Oprah and Stedman. Oh, wait a minute, that one might be true. T.S. Eliot said, teach us to care and not to care. Caring is a beautiful quality, but when you know the truth of who you are, you also know when not to care. I can tell you this, you cannot afford to care about any attorney who says no to you. Caring about that attorney creates an inferior mindset and sets you up for failure. Care instead about your expertise, the truth of who you are, and care about the attorney who says yes, or the attorney who says, well, maybe. At the end of the day, when an attorney says no, who cares? Should one ignorant attorney ruin your day? Should one ignorant attorney ruin your career? No. If you know the truth of who you are, then you know there's 1,687,829 more attorneys. Go get them. Question number 10. Why am I asking these questions? Challenge your questions. Einstein said, you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. That's not just because we operate off the same wrong solutions. We're often not even asking the right questions. To paraphrase Elie Wiesel, an Auschwitz survivor, every question possesses a power that does not lie in the answer. This is such a profound thought, I must repeat it. Every question possesses a power that does not lie in the answer. Your questions take you places. Pay attention to the questions you ask and where they take you. I want to share this story about two CLNC consultants who both live in rural areas. The first is complaining about the lack of attorneys in her rural area. She's asking, why is there no market? Why? Because she can't see past her freaking neighborhood. You can guess just how successful she is. The second CLNC consultant recognizes that besides her and a couple of cows, there isn't much going on in her neighborhood. But she ain't sitting at home. She's out marketing to attorneys in all of your neighborhoods. She's so busy, she's struggling to keep up. All because she asks, where are the attorneys and how do I get to them? Recently, an RN asked me, Vicki, is there really a need for CLNC consultants in Iowa? Really? 33 years ago, if I had asked, is there a need for legal nurse consultants in Texas? I wouldn't be standing here before you. I'd still be starting IVs, cleaning up patients' crap, and complaining about the hospital food. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. The right questions nudge you toward that edge. What questions are you asking as you grow your business as a certified legal nurse consultant? And how do the questions you raise stand up to the success you aim to achieve for your business? I'm just asking. Thank you all very much.
This concludes the recording of this session of the Advanced CLNC Practice Building Program.